Welcome to TRT World. From changing communities to minority challenges, we bring you the stories shaping the region. I'm Nadia Muftic, and this is Across the Balkans. Four members of the Western Thrace Turkish minority have been ordered by a Greek court to serve 17 months in prison. They were found guilty of protesting against state-appointed religious officials. Community leaders say this ruling exemplifies a decades-long struggle for religious autonomy. Selen Eşençay reports.
A recent court ruling in Greece has reignited an old dispute between Athens and the Turkish minority of Western Thrace. It concerns the selection of the community's religious leaders. The latest developments began in May 2024 when worshippers gathered at the Çınar Mosque in Zenti to protest the presence of state-appointed religious officials during the Friday prayers. For many in the minority community, the protest represented more than just a disagreement over a single prayer service. It reflected decades of conflict regarding the appointment of religious leaders, a contentious issue since the 1990s. After a 14-hour court session, 4 community members were convicted for their roles in the demonstration, but later converted them to suspended sentences with financial penalties.
İnsan haklarının en temel argümanı azınlık haklarıdır. Bakın, azınlık haklarının en temel hassas noktası dini özgürlüklerdir. Maalesef ülkemiz Yunanistan bu konuda çok katı ve bize şu mesajı verdi. Bugün de onu gördük. Ben size ne kadar müsaade ediyorsam o kadar dini özgürlüğünüz olacak.
Minority representatives insist the community must manage its own religious affairs and choose its own leaders. Greek authorities maintain that the 1923 Treaty of Lausanne doesn't provide for the election of muftis and that religious officials must be appointed through state procedures.
Eğer biz bir ceza davasını bir siyasi propagandaya çevirmeye çalışanlara bundan sonraki süreçte de izin verirsek, o zaman demokrasinin beşiği olan Yunanistan'da hukuktan bahsetmek çok doğru olmayacak. O yüzden bu mahkeme bize göre yanlış karar verdi ama bir üst mahkemede bundan sonraki süreçte o da olmadı, temyiz aşamasında o da olmadı. Avrupa İnsan Hakları Mahkemesi var. Kaldı ki biz bugün mahkemeye sunduğumuz ve bizim düşüncelerimizi destekler nitelikte en az 4 tane Avrupa İnsan Hakları Mahkemesi kararı var bizim azınlığımızla ilgili ve burada dini özgürlüğümüzün ihlal edildiği yönünde kararlar. Ama bugün gördük ki bu kararlar da tamamen göz ardı ediliyor. Avrupa İnsan Hakları Mahkemesi kararları demek ki Yunanistan için pek fazla bir şey ifade etmiyor.
Defense lawyers say they will appeal the ruling before a higher criminal court. If domestic remedies are exhausted, they warn that the case could once again reach the European Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg. For the Turkish minority community, the verdict surpasses the concerns of the 4 defendants. It represents yet another flashpoint in their long-standing struggle for religious leadership, minority rights, and the interpretation of established protections. Selen Eşençay, Across the Balkans.
To discuss this case and the rights of the Turkish minority in Greece, I'm joined by Associate Professor of Political Science, Faik Tanrikulu. Welcome to Across the Balkans. It's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Yeah, thank you for your invitation and thank you for having me.
Thank you. The rights
It's a
of the
pleasure.
Turkish minority in Western Thrace have been an issue for a long time. But despite their rights being guaranteed under the Treaty of the Lausanne, they are often neglected. Shouldn't there be enforcement by Athens?
Yes, unfortunately, it has been a long time that is not solved so far. And this is not only legal issues, it is matter of religious freedom and minority rights, identity and dignity. So Turkish minority in Western Thrace should be able to choose on religious leader freely. And religious authority imposed, unfortunately, by the state and the reject by the community cannot create a legitimacy. So, and actually, that's international law, as you mentioned, and the Treaty of Lausanne. It is very clear that should choose their clerics, but so far this is didn't accept and welcome and this right.
Yeah, so how fair is it for these four Turks to be prosecuted when they were protesting to protect their rights?
Yeah, actually, that is every minority has the right to protest their right, but unfortunately, this Greece authority has give the punishment who protests, who appointment by the state clerics. Is it normally Turkey also is always talk with the Greece authority is the normally they said okay that is the process on should be is ongoing but Greece authority always find any such reason that we should follow this the rules but is it, if you look the international laws but they didn't follow such rules.
Yeah, what does this case reveal about the current state of religious freedom and minority rights in Greece?
Yeah, actually, is that this cannot be treated merely as domestic Greek issues. Western Thrace and Turkish minority right. That is the based on international laws. They are not depend on political modes in Athens, international community, especially Council of Europe and European Union institutions should pay closer attention to Greece obligations. That is very clear, but unfortunately, Greece authority didn't do so far any protections these rights.
According to, as I know, to Treaty of Lausanne, there is a one point which says that the Muslim minority, that they have a right to choose their own religion leader. Is here in Greece problem basically? Does Greece have a problem not with the Muslims, then with the Turks? Like to be as an ethnic group Turks, is that a problem basically?
In the history also is Greece faced some violations about human rights, especially in Turks. They didn't given the name Turks name after the Greece member of European Union has changed some strict rules. But especially the clerics appointment, one of the big challenge actually between European roles and also international human rights. That is actually one of the lack of didn't follow the Greece authority actually. But in the past, unfortunately, more than today, they given the rights the minority, especially when we talk about the Turks. They should actually this is this is not only about the technical appointment of religious officials. Actually, it's about right of minority community. But if you look the other minority, they especially do something relation against the Turks. That is very clear. That also some international human court announced that the Greece should do their task and they follow the human rights, especially about the state, the cleric appointment, which should be selected by the Turkish minority.
Mhm. How significant is the dispute over the appointment of muftis, and why has it remained unresolved for so many years?
Yeah, actually, this dispute is extremely significant because the Mufti is not just a cleric. In
Mhm,
Western Thrace, Mufti
mhm,
represents religion's authority, communal identity, and minority autonomy. But the issues has remained unresolved because Greece insists of the trading, and the Mufti they look Mufti as state control official, while the Turkish minority sees Mufti as a religious leader
mhm,
who must be chosen by the community. One of the big difference between actually this Turkish community and the Greek authority look. This is why problem has continued for decades. It's not merely legal disagreement. It is dispute over recognition, legitimacy, and the trust.
mhm,
Actually, as long as Athens refused to recognize elected muftis of Turkish minority, these issues will remain source of tension actually so far.
mhm. So, could this case have wider implications for Greece's international image on human rights and minority protections?
Yeah, actually, there are a lot decisions which the Greece authority should be followed, but so far they didn't accept or they didn't do anything else. That's why I think, my opinion, the international community should push more forward
Mhm.
to do some their responsibility about the Turkish minority.
So, for the end, to what extent is this a legal dispute, and to what extent it is a political issues tied to Greek-Turkish relations?
Yeah, actually, it is both legal and the political, especially when we talk first legally. The issues concern treaty obligations, religious freedom, minority rights,
Mhm,
and the interpretation of Lausanne. Turkish minority demands throughout the lands of Turkish influence, especially Turkey, sees the mother of legitimate minority
mhm,
rights issues based on international treaties, as I mentioned at the beginning, and the historical guarantees. So that is not new demand for the Turkish minority. Even the Turkey accept or give the rights minority in Turkey, which is live different in multicultural countries.
mhm,
The Greece also should accept and give the rights for the minority. And also, but the rights of Turkish minority should not be held hostage of political tension between Ankara and Athens.
mhm,
Even the Turkey and Greece have disagreement, even Eastern Mediterranean or Cyprus, but we talk about the basic right of Turkish minority in Western Thrace
mhm,
must be respected, not options, must be respected. As I said, that is part of the population future of the Greece.
mhm,
And that solution is very clear. Greece should recognize elected muftis and as a respect of Turkish identity,
mhm,
minority. The another, which is also the part of European Union, implements the European human rights standards and the engage in science dialogue with the community. So that is very clear, but unfortunately, we see totally different steps by the Greece authority.
Unfortunately. Thank you so much for being the guest in Across the Balkans.
Yeah, thank you too having me. Have a good day.
More than 4 years after a wave of Russian citizens began moving to Serbia, it is still unclear how well those who stayed have integrated and how they see their future in the country. Thousands of Russian entrepreneurs have launched businesses and left a visible mark on the local economy. Jelena Milutinovic reports on the changes they have brought and what life looks like for Serbia's Russian community today.
Anastasia Jeremina is a photographer and blogger. Although she moved from Russia to Novi Sad less than 3 years ago, she already speaks Serbian well, and her circle of friends and acquaintances continues to grow.
Sada kad se osjećam recimo opušteno, mislim u bilo kojoj situaciji, mogu da pričam spontano, mogu da skontam šta se uopšte dešava. Što se tiče svakodnevnog života, to mi je lakše i što se tiče posla, nekako sad imam blog na srpskom i znači idem po gradu i ljudi me prepoznaju kao ti si devojka sa Instagrama, ti si naša ruska komšinica. I mislim, što više ljudi me znaju, tim više ljudi kao mogu da me nađu, da me zaposle.
Anastasia documents everyday life in Serbia on social media, sharing stories about Russians who have settled here as well as the Serbs they meet along the way.
Ljudi su nekako idealizovali sliku Rusa, imali su neku ideju o Rusima i onda su došli mi, kakvi jesmo. I sad rekla bih da svi radimo svoj posao, svoj deo posla. Što se tiče Srba, oni prihvataju nas kakvi jesmo. A mi samo pokušavamo da se nekako uklopimo, da se integrišemo.
Anastasia arrived in Novi Sad as part of the wave of Russians who moved to Serbia after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Official figures suggest that of around 100,000 foreigners legally resident in Serbia, more than half are Russians. Many of them started businesses soon after arriving. One of them is Jelena, Anastasia's friend, who operates a massage studio with her husband. She says she is more than happy with her new life in Serbia.
Большинство клиентов – это такие же переехавшие русские, украинцы, белорусы. Также у меня есть несколько клиентов постоянных сербов, которые очень мне помогают шаг за шагом расширять словарный запас по сербскому. Тут главное не бояться о себе заявлять, не бояться говорить, ну и, конечно, выполнять хорошо свою работу.
The Russians' arrival has left a visible mark on Serbia's economy. The Serbian Chamber of Commerce says more than 3,000 companies with Russian capital have been registered. Data from the Business Registers Agency, which also includes sole proprietors, shows that more than 10,000 businesses are owned by Russians.
Reč je pre svega o visoko kvalifikovanim, tehnološki savremenim, da kažem, segmentima poslovanja. U značajnoj meri su podigli nivo i kvalitet usluga koje se predstavljaju korisnicima, kao i, da kažem, podizanje nivoa zdrave konkurencije u Republici Srbiji.
Russian entrepreneurs are most active in the IT sector, but in recent years they have increasingly opened restaurants, cafes, beauty salons and barber shops. Many are also involved in consulting, creative industries and the arts. Most belong to a younger middle and upper middle class demographic.
Nemam ja nikakav direktan kontakt, ali mislim da su se uklopili.
Mislim da se nisu baš dobro uklopili, da su oni izolovani u svojim zajednicama. Nekako ne vidim da se uklapaju. Oni imaju svoj biznis, svoje zabave, svoje trgovine. Nemam ništa protiv.
Živimo jedni pored drugih, tako da oni se uopšte ne druže sa nama. Imaju svoje doktore, restorane i vrlo su kulturni, mladi su, ja nemam ništa loše da kažem. Tako da, divna deca, vidi se da su, pretežno su mlade, starije i neviđe.
Through her videos, Anastasia is helping bring the two communities closer and encouraging greater understanding between them. When they first arrived in Serbia, most Russians had no idea how long they would stay. Today, many of them speak Serbian, work, pay taxes, and raise their children here. Yet one question remains: do they see Serbia as their new home or as a temporary place to live? For some of them, the answer is already clear.
Я не думаю, что мы куда-то будем переезжать. Нам нравится Нови Сад, нравится Сербия. Нет даже мыслей о том, что хочется что-то еще искать. И также хотелось бы получить сербский паспорт. Это говорит о том, что и страна, и люди, и город, все здесь нравится.
The Russians who came to Serbia are getting defrosted ovdje. Mi smo ovdje za healing došli i za život.
Research by the Belgrade Center for Security Policy shows that the main reason Russians chose Serbia were its visa-free regime, cultural similarities, and generally positive attitudes towards Russians. Most respondents say they feel safe here. What began as a temporary stay for many has gradually become everyday life. Jelena Milutinović, Across the Balkans, Serbia.
Artifacts from a Roman shipwreck of Croatia's coast are providing new insights into trade networks that connected the Roman Empire to Hungary's capital Budapest. A new exhibition brings these finds together to show the story of the empire linked by commerce across Europe. Adam Amunu has more.
Not many people would have heard of Aquincum, but it was the Roman predecessor of Hungary's capital, Budapest. Today, Budapest is a very different city from its ancient version. It is mostly known for its 19th century architecture and the world's third largest parliament building. However, an exhibition has opened to uncover just how important Aquincum was for the Roman Empire. Titled The Last Cargo, Late Antique Shipwreck from Peruzzi and the Trade Relations of Aquincum, it features artefacts from a sunken vessel alongside items excavated from Aquincum.
You can try. Yeah, that's replica, but it's
From amphoras, which were used to transport liquid goods like olive oil and fish sauce, to the personal items used by the crew, they were recovered by diver archaeologists from the International Center for Underwater Archaeology in the Croatian city of Zadar. Tracing back over 3,000 years, Zadar's foundation as a formal city dates to the 2nd century BCE under Roman rule.
We do have several objects, and we also exhibited it in one of the showcases in this exhibition, that speak for the vivid commercial contact between the Mediterranean and Aquincum. These are mainly oyster shells and all sorts of other marine products that reached Aquincum from the Adriatic coastline. And since they were quite expensive, we can securely think that these were consumed by the high elite living in Aquincum. But we also have exported objects, imported and exported objects, such as a terra sigillata jug that comes from North Africa, and also a very nice little furniture element which is made of ivory, which was probably coming from the Near East. So these tiny finds definitely speak for a really embedded contact between Aquincum and the rest of the empire.
The shipwreck was found in 2011, just 6 meters underwater, off Croatia's Adriatic coast, between the islands of Veliki Peruzzi and Mali Peruzzi. Researchers believe it sank in the 5th century after colliding with an underwater rock. The wreck remained undisturbed for almost 2,000 years. It is of particular interest for Budapest, as ancient Aquincum was a military and administrative centre in the Roman Empire. Archaeologists and historians are gaining a better understanding of how the eastern Adriatic coast, in what is now Croatia, helped connect the Mediterranean world to the Roman province of Pannonia. This means that today's Croatia and Hungary were connected through a vast imperial trade network.
We definitely call the Roman Empire as the very first globalized empire in the world, and also Aquincum was deeply embedded into this kind of system, since we were the very first area where protecting the Roman Empire against the barbarian tribes over the Danube area. So Aquincum and the province of Pannonia had a very important role from the military point of view, so that means that this globalized area was very much again true for Aquincum as well.
From the depths of the Adriatic to the heart of Budapest, these centuries-old discoveries are helping historians piece together the story of an empire built not only through conquest, but through commerce, connectivity and cultural exchange. The exhibition runs until the 25th of October. Adamamunu, Across the Balkans.
Thank you for watching Across the Balkans. You can follow our stories on social media and TRT World's YouTube channel. That is all from the team this week. We hope to see you next time.